Yeah. Hello, everyone. We're going to have more noise in this live stream than usual because it's unavoidable to some degree. We have some hungry animals here. We're going to be chomping away at their food. Today, we are going to. We have Tabby over there.
Hi.
Today is Sisyphean Prometheus. This is something I'm working on. It may be a chapter title, maybe a book title, I'm not sure. But it is something that I recently discovered is a sort of theme in my life, and that's what we're going to go over. Now, you may or may not be familiar with the myths of Prometheus and or Sisyphus. And to make matters a little bit more confusing, there are different versions of both of these, and Prometheus is famous for at least two major acts for which he's being punished eternally. So as I say in the footnotes of this thing I'm working on, there are many versions of the tale of Prometheus, some which have differences that do matter here for what I'm trying to say, for what I'm trying to express. For the purposes of this writing, when I refer to Prometheus, when I use the term Promethean, I am referring to those versions in which Prometheus is motivated, despite risk, to ascend the slopes of Mount Olympus to the halls of the Olympians, to take fire, which represents truth, knowledge, power, to take fire from the Olympians and to give it to humanity back down on the earth so that their suffering would be reduced. And for this he is unjustly punished. He is punished, by the way, with he's bound to a rock, and an eagle is forever pulling out his liver. In some versions of this story, fire increases human suffering. And so the lesson there is that he is being punished, or he should not have. The reason why the gods or the Olympians are withholding fire is because they know if humanity had fire, then there would be war on a greater scale than pointed sticks. There'd be forging of metal, and and so on and so forth, and all the way up to nuclear weapons. And there is a lesson to be learned there. However, for the purpose of my writing, this is not the version that we are concerned with. Not to belittle that version, it just doesn't apply here. I'm concerned with truth, knowledge, and power that people have a right to. The truth, represented by the symbol of fire. The truth, knowledge, power that is withheld from people. Truth, knowledge, power that is unjustly hoarded by a few who unjustly hold authority and are able to wield power by jealously guarding this truth and power. As Jean Shinoda Bolin, MD, writes in the book Ring of Power, truth brings an end to the cycle of power. And Prometheus, no, I'm sorry, that's Prometheus. Now, don't be confused. Prometheus also, is known for cheating the Olympians out of the prime meats that were supposed to be given to them.
No.
Tabby is going to correct me. What's that, babe? She says no.
He kidnapped Death.
Oh, okay. So it's Sisyphus who does that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He didn't want to die, so he kidnapped Death and held Zeus's brother captive, pretty much.
Okay, so Tabby's saying Prometheus is the guy who cheated Death.
Yes.
There's different ways where that happens. Okay, so I'm getting the two mixed up. But the deed is what's important for Prometheus here. And the punishment of Sisyphus is what's important for my theme here. Now, Sisyphus is somebody who, well, by Sisyphean, I refer to that which involves hard work. And thank you, by the way, Tabitha. By Sisyphean, I refer to that which involves hard work and attempt to reach a goal that cannot be reached despite repeated efforts, as in the mythical punishment of Sisyphus, who must push or carry a heavy stone up a slope to the top where he never reaches, before the weight of the stone becomes so great that it rolls back down to the foot of the slope, to which Sisyphus must return to retrieve so that he can repeat his effort. In my theme here, the Sisyphean punishment is given for the Promethean theft, quote unquote, of fire, representing truth, knowledge, power, though it is not insignificant that Sisyphus, I wrote, is known for cheating death. I suppose I should wrote Prometheus is known for cheating death.
Yeah, the guy rolling the rock up the hill, that's why he has to keep doing that one task over and over again, because he made Zeus so angry by kidnapping his brother and removing death from life.
Wait, before you said Prometheus cheats death, so is it Prometheus?
It's the guy who's rolling the stone up the hill.
Oh, okay, so it is Sisyphus.
Yeah, he's the
Okay,
one
right.
that cheated death by kidnapping death.
Yeah.
The other guy is the one who stole fire.
Yeah.
But that's why he's rolling that stone up the hill. Zeus gave him what he wanted.
Yeah.
See, he was afraid of dying and getting old.
Right.
So he kidnapped death to stop life where it was, so
Right.
no one would age. So he's trapped in a reality in which he's young and youthful for all eternity, capable of rolling a giant boulder up a hill, but he can never get it to the top.
Right. So I'm not concerned with that deed here, although it is not insignificant to my particular situation about cheating death. Although I don't think I have cheated death. Not in, a literal way, or even in even to use poetic license. But let's see, the myth of Prometheus, etc., etc. I know one of these guys does not just one deed that angers the gods, but one of these guys, Sisyphus or Prometheus, is also one of the guys who they're supposed to give the prime meats to Zeus and sacrifice it.
The two acts get conflated.
Okay.
Like I said, the guy rolling the boulder up the hill,
yeah.
he gets conflated with the biblical tale of the offering, of the burnt offering story.
Yeah, the burnt offering story,
right?
right.
The pelt full of like rancid, rotten stuff that you don't want.
It covers in fat too, and stuff.
And he put that on the altar, and God saw what it was and punished him. Prometheus, he gets labeled with that one purely because his base story is deceit. He deceived the gods and was punished.
Yeah.
And so people get them confused together.
Yeah.
Because the biblical one is usually in most of our heads. We've all heard. Wasn't the guy with the rock?
Okay.
But he does get mixed up with.
I've even seen today a source that credits Prometheus, I think, with the act of father of Glaucus, etc. Related to when death came. Okay, so Sisyphus cheats death. Sisyphus, the guy who has to endlessly carry
the boulder up.
Yeah, the boulder up the hill. He's also the subject of Albert Camus' novel, The Myth of Sisyphus, from essay on the absurd from 1942. It's an existentialist classic, or considered to be so. Okay, but now we have it all twisted, and we're totally. All right. Well, let me see. Let me check the chat, and since we're already knocked off the flow, beep beep, I'm a Jeep says woo. Well, hello, beep beep, I'm a Jeep. He or she also says hello, all four of us. LOL. 4 of us. Wow. 5 concurrent viewers. Well, great. Daniel is here again. Daniel Kier. Ahoy, hoy. Nice. Nice. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen and or women. So let's get back on track and let's get in the flow. Again, what matters is that, so we get the idea here. What matters here is that Prometheus, the figure of Prometheus, quote unquote, steals fire, which represents truth, knowledge, and power from the from the Olympians, and gives that to the people down on Earth. This is truth, knowledge, and power that is jealously guarded by an elite, not allowed to be given to the people on Earth, and at least in the version that I'm concerned with here, this justly belongs to the people on Earth and is unjustly hoarded by the Olympians. All right, there are other versions, but we're not concerned with that here. All right, so this is something I've been writing because I've been thinking about my life and certain themes in my life, and this refers to one of those themes. Promethean defiance, Sisyphean satisfaction. Joyful is the climb, dread the fall. Yet I endure and persist in spite, and for the gratification. Grateful for another opportunity to again strive against and gain. ironically thankful for another chance to offend the high and mighty by running through Sisyphus's vertical loop rather than to retire in peace from my Promethean ways. How fortunate I am to have yet another chance to defy all that holds me back. I count myself lucky to be able to repeatedly offend, with disobedience, those who demand my compliance. There are many, including myself at times, or perhaps I should say often, who would have me accept an easier life or even stop fighting for my own life. And even so, on the cusp of our anniversary, I promise you, Tabitha, my wife, my queen, to never give up or to give in to you know what. Your love is my reason, my purpose. I give you my sacred vow to hold fast, to fight, to strive to vanquish my Valkyrie. Back to back we slay my red Sonia, my sexy berserker, my goddess wife Tabby, I love you.
Make me redder than I already am.
Happy anniversary.
Happy
She says,
anniversary.
thank you, I love you.
I love you.
Tabby says I'm going to make her even more red than she already is.
I'll have a pink tone to my skin. That's not fair.
Yeah.
I look like a cherry.
She is very much a red woman. Red hair. She can easily turn red in the skin. She's my gorgeous, my red Sonia. Her hair is like red gold, by the way.
I love you.
I love you. Various shades thereof. Metallic in the sun. Radiant. Like perfect metals. Glittering, I should say. And still, even with... She has me all flustered. I'm knocked off the flow of this thing I'm writing. Do the wrong thing. No to being unjustly constrained or forced. I will not bend to the wrong. Get out of the way. I will not obey. What may appear to be an exercise in futility is an exercise of fortitude, tenacity, duty, dignity, honesty, and goodwill towards myself and others. Pushing against unyielding rock, pulling against gravity, strength grows. The strife sharpens the wit and cultivates a bit of wisdom, at least it seems, at least to me, at least for now. Each time I refuse to give in and instead take another lap up and down again, or as I wrote, again, it becomes again. Each time I refuse to give in and instead take another lap up and down, again the satisfaction of pushing another thorn in the side of adversity. I'm not talking about overcoming some cabal, but rather my own sloth, bureaucracy, nature, gravity, poverty, conditions, social media monopolies, and much more. But I am not talking about the Jews or a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant cabal or the Freemasons or whatnot. And I will not submit to your jihad, your prophet, the descendants of his uncle or his child, the government or not, that is justly earned and maintained. Thus I reject almost all so-called authority, quote unquote. Happy I am to ride this absurd seesaw, climbing up rungs and sliding down serpentine spirals as if in a game of snakes and ladders. The head swallows the tail as the end leads right to the beginning, which eventually comes around to the end, which leads to the beginning, an Ouroboros. Or just kissing and blowing smoke up my own ass. Here, by the way, is a very old depiction of the Ouroboros. See, by the way, that it is a dragon and not a snake because it has 4 legs.
That's it's because it's a misinterpretation of writing.
You want to come here and say it to the mic? It's such that they won't be able to hear you unless you're really loud and close. This, by the way, this drawing, Serpiente Alchemica.
That's because at one time in history, serpent and the devil were interchangeable words.
Yeah, serpent and the devil.
Devil, dragon, serpent, they all technically meant the same thing. Giant worm, all of these things. So when you see the Ouroboros having 4 legs, that's because this is the dragon that continuously eats itself. And it got later turned into the snake that continually eats itself because somebody read a translation where it had been translated from dragon to snake, which they mean the same thing.
They kind of did
in old text.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we obviously tell them differently from one another. A snake is not a dragon, and a dragon is not a snake.
Yeah.
And neither are devils. But in the old days, they were all just words of saying something's a devil.
Yeah.
So a snake eating itself is a devil that kills itself.
Yeah.
Makes no sense. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, we make the differentiation. We make the distinction because snakes exist biologically in biological reality, right? And so do lizards. But I just thought of something. Yeah, they didn't make the distinction so much in the old days, but there's an old word for dragons, drake. It rhymes with snake.
Yeah, drake, drago.
Yeah, and that becomes Drake,
Draconis.
Drago, Dragon, Draconis, yeah, all that. But like Drake and snake rhyme. I wonder if did some culture instead of pronouncing it Drake, pronounced it more like snake?
Could be.
So
Like
I
I
don't
said,
know.
somewhere along the line it got changed into snake. But like I said, it started out as the devil, and then it turned into Draco.
Yeah.
Dracul.
Right, Dracul.
It's
Dracula.
just a myriad of D versions.
Yeah.
It's just different kinds of dragon combining to become dragon eventually.
Yeah.
And then down to snake.
Yeah. And
Or
from
serpent.
how do you say that? Dragul?
Dragul.
From that we get Dracula.
Yeah.
Okay, so this drawing, by the way, is medieval Byzantine Greek alchemical manuscript drawing. Serpiente Alchemica, if I'm saying that correctly, or the Ouroboros. Most of us know that. So I continue my writing here. This is a draft. I near the goal let me see it start again. I near
Cheat death, okay? Yeah, I know.
Okay.
He was the first king of what, Eurasia or something like that?
Oh, I don't know.
Either way, he was the first king of his area. And he's a Zeus worshiper.
Okay.
So Zeus is honored or dishonored by the actions of this man and his people.
Yeah.
That's how the gods see things. So because they worship Zeus, he owns them. They have to, do things right. Well, this king, Sisyphus, he would invite people to his house and then murder them.
Oh.
He would invite his enemies over, and instead of
Nice.
there's a tradition that you must uphold when you're nobility and you bring other nobility to your house.
Yeah.
You have to be good. You're calling like an act of peace by saying, "Come to my home." So you can't just poison them or stab them in the back.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's kind of culturally taboo, I guess you would
Yeah,
say.
and because he kept doing that, Zeus was already kind of angry at him because it's making him look bad in the eyes of the other gods that are just like, can you not control this one fucking hairless monkey? What's wrong with you? Anyways, so Zeus lets that go. He's like, okay, I'm just, let him fucking continue to do that. Who cares? Then Zeus sees Poseidon's son's wife. Okay?
Poseidon's son's wife, so his brother's wife.
Yes. He sees his brother's son's wife, so his daughter-in-law.
Okay.
Okay. So he sees her and he goes, "Oh, she's so beautiful." So Zeus, becoming lustful, kidnaps her and takes her away. Well,
Word.
Sisyphus promises to tell the husband, as long as they make a particular life spring rise up in the town. Hold on, I'll be right back. Sorry, we're recording.
Tabby's got to deal with something all of
I
a
got to
sudden.
get milk for the puppies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Go ahead.
Long story short, Zeus hears that this guy is gonna tell on him.
Yeah.
And so Zeus sends Death to go get him. Like, he wants Death to kill him. He's gonna kill the guy who's gonna tat upon him.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's another unjust punishment.
Yeah, and so so when Death gets there, Sisyphus asks Death, how do your chains work? Because the chains of the underworld can't be unbroken. Once they're on you, they're on you. And whoever has the leash is your owner. That's it. So the embodiment of Death shows him how these chains work by putting them on himself.
Oh, one of those cartoon things. Bugs Bunny would do something like that.
Exactly, and from that moment he is captive to Sisyphus, and he can't do anything.
Okay.
And at this point Zeus is like, that's enough. And then just like a giant sky genie claps his hands 3 times, and the guy is now perpetually locked in a state of rolling a stone up a hill.
Yeah. Which we can see here on the screen, by the way. This is not an ancient depiction, but it's done in that style. But you can tell it's not actually ancient, but
I had to look up the whole thing because it was like,
yeah,
it had to be more than just vanity to make you try and kidnap death.
Yeah.
It was Zeus's vanity.
Yeah.
He didn't want his brother Poseidon knowing that he kidnapped his daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
To have sex with her as like a bull or an eagle or whatever the fuck kind of animal he wanted to be.
Yeah.
He's weird like that.
He's weird like that, yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Okay. Got some weird shit going on in Greek.
Okay, where was I now? Alright. I near the goal, and as if by a riptide, I am pulled down to rock bottom again. Yet undaunted, I take back on my responsibilities, find again my bearings, re-identify my goals, align myself in the right direction, adjust myself, and walk, crawl, or drag myself on. Never bitter that I've lost. I meant to write there. I wrote lose. Never bitter that I've lost time after time what I build. Or maybe I should write never bitter that I lose. Okay. See, one of the reasons why I wanted to live stream this, folks, is to give you a sneak peek of this, but also so that I become more conscious of things that I overlook otherwise if I'm just sitting here silently reading. Okay. Never bitter that I lose time after time what I build. Ironically grateful for the opportunity to suffer Sisyphus' struggle, for it is by my free will. And here again we're tapping, if you've read Albert Camus' Sisyphus, we're tapping into that existential sort of attitude about this story, where he says we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Now I forget why he writes that. It's been a few years since I've read that.
He doesn't have to worry about anything.
Well, no, I mean that's not why. But for what matters is that, in a sense, I have an existentialist attitude. But for whatever Albert Camus writes is, his imagined happy Sisyphus' reason for doing that. Mine is for what I'm saying here. So I repeat these actions and consequences, and in so doing, I again the satisfaction of defying those who unjustly demand compliance, the pleasure of paining those who withhold fire from vulnerable and shivering mankind groping in the dark, those who jealously guard truth as if it was theirs. This Sisyphean labor is not a punishment, but rather an opportunity. Though narrow are my choices and neither is desired, my choice is mine of my own free will, something I still hold fast. And I reject the easy choice of giving up, of retiring from the fight, to relax for the rest of my days, and I make yet again the hard choice to carry on. Taxpayer-funded, government-run social media monopolies want to break our wills so that we express only that which complies with their ideological doctrine and demands. How many times have they suspended me, censored me, demoted, demonetized, soft-banned, shadow-banned, or simply deleted my accounts? Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, WordPress, even Rumble, X, and BitChute. This brings joy to my heart each and every time. It hurts them when we refuse to comply. They cannot comprehend how a person can be demonetized and go on to make hundreds of videos and gain millions of views for free. They do not know how to deal with a person who would rather never use their platform again than delete a quote-unquote offensive post. They do not understand that some people are motivated not by money or popularity, but rather by the justice. Or I should say, rather by justice. Okay, let me read that sentence again then, folks. They do not understand that some people are motivated not by money or popularity, but rather by justice. Why would someone tell those truths when they could make money instead? People have a right to know much that is... let me try that again. People have a right to know much that is hidden from them and lied about. They threaten and imprison people for speaking out, and yet people speak out. They encourage with their attempts to discourage. Little do they know how many times I have built up substantial audiences after they took the last one away, and why I persist. Less do they know that this skipping Sisyphean record is merely a game compared to the larger Sisyphean struggles of my life, a mere micro mirror to my macroverse. As above, so below. Happy anniversary, Tabitha, my goddess, my queen, I love you.
Happy anniversary, baby. I love you.
All right, so is there anything you would like to say on this live stream before I maybe just check out the comments and leave?
No.
Alrighty. There was one thing I was thinking. Oh, by the way, I had a Twitter account, Culture War Encyclopedia. Now I want to show you something, folks. When I go to log into Twitter as Culture War Encyclopedia, here you can see the offending tweet that they logged me, or that they suspended my account for. This is a tweet I made on, or I don't know, a post I made on X on December 5th of this year. You can see I am writing, I tagged Disney, the company, the official account thereof. You betrayed us all, or I should read it as Disney, you betrayed us all, or all of us. Damn it. Tabitha, this is the offending tweet. At Disney, you betrayed all of us. I used to love Disney. Now I cheer on your demise. You deserve it.
That's just so mean.
Well, mean or not.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, no, I know you're being sarcastic, right? But
No,
even if it's
nothing.
considered to be mean, what rule am I breaking?
None.
Yeah. I forget where or how, but I looked into... Okay, I guess because I already clicked on it, I appealed. And then they told me, you know, you're probably violating one of these rules, and one of the rules was something about threatening violence. See, you know, the word demise...
That's how you know it's an AI.
Oh, yeah.
The AI
Right.
just read the word demise, and they're like, "Whoa, it must be talking about killing somebody." It's like,
Right.
that's why AIs are not effective in censoring free speech.
Right.
Because they're just going to censor everything.
Right.
Because they're stupid. Because the people who invented them to be censor bots are fucking morons too.
Yeah.
Anyone who wants to censor somebody else because you just can't take that they're allowed to talk that thing that you don't want them to talk,
Yeah.
you are so fucking retarded, it's insane and hilarious to me. Because you shouldn't care. If you're smart enough to understand logic and reality,
Yeah.
then somebody saying words in the vicinity of your ear holes shouldn't piss you off to the point of needing to silence their speech.
Yeah.
It should, if a normal person heard that, they'd just walk away.
Yeah.
Put their fingers in their ears. Get goddamn earplugs or silencing headphones.
Yeah.
These are things you can do as a normal, sane human being.
Right.
Yeah. Now somebody's standing in your front yard going, "Hey, I need a mob here because we're going to go get Charlie. Drag him out of his house." Oh, yeah, then you can censor the fuck out of that speech all you want.
Yeah.
With a gun, with a stick, whatever the fuck you want, because that one is trying to get your ass killed. Other than that, only a moron wants to censor speech.
At least that's how free speech stands at this point in the United States of America, as per Supreme Court rulings, I think in the 50s, having to do with what we commonly say in our culture, yelling fire in a crowded theater. And the implication there is that, you know, yelling fire in a crowded theater where there is no fire. Of course, yelling fire in a crowded theater when there is a fire, that is, you know, that is right and just and legal and all that. Anyway, yeah, in English, the word demise, if applied to an individual, can mean everything from them losing their job to them losing their life or anything in between, for an individual. Now, obviously, if we're not talking about a human being or a living entity, it does not mean a loss of life because a corporation doesn't have one.
No.
Now, I know that Mitt Romney would say, corporations are people, my friend, and he can go fuck himself.
Corporation is a building. There are people in the building. Most of you assholes don't give a shit about the people in the building. You care about the CEO and their bottom line and how much money that bottom line making is going to come to you.
Right.
We get it. You all suck ass.
All right.
They're not people.
Now, this is when applied to a group or a corporation, business, or a brand or whatever, obviously the word demise does not mean loss of life or anything like that. They mean decline. I mean, in this case, a decline, right? So either, like Tabby says, an AI doesn't know what it's talking about, or it's programmed to not know what it's talking about, or there's, still people in Twitter or in X that work there that are pretending to not understand the difference between, the differences, the nuances of the word demise and how they apply to different, whether we're talking about living entities or not, and how even then there is a big range of what that can mean. Who knows? Now, it could be like Tabby's saying, it could just be an AI that doesn't understand or doesn't differentiate between an individual human being with an account on X and an account for a corporation or a business or a brand on X, which is pretty, it's hard to believe that would be done by accident. But then again, as you folks know, there's this whole thing in the last, I guess, few months, you would say, I would imagine, or at least a couple months, between an animosity between Elon Musk, the owner of X, and Disney. The whole thing where he told either Disney or Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, one or the other, both, that they can go fuck themselves because one or the other, Disney and or Bob Iger, were basically saying, look, you have to not be this way for us to keep giving you ad revenue. Like, we don't want our ads on your platform if you don't comply to wokeness, basically. And Elon Musk said, well, you can go fuck yourselves. Now, that being so, unless it's all for appearances, I would imagine that either, this conflicts with at least the narrative from Elon Musk and or X, but there are different reasons why. Now, one of the things is when I rejected the appeal and I refused to delete this, one of the things they said is, well, if you give us some more personal information, maybe we'll forgive you and then we'll let you back on. So that could be the motivation, but still, it's not a good look, for X. And I'm not going to delete this. I mean, they can go fuck themselves. And I'm hoping that this is just something that is not what is intended by the leadership at X, but is a glitch. But, it could just be hypocrisy. It could be an empty... it could be for appearances that he's, being this way. Now, it could be he could be totally, he could mean it and totally stick to it when he says, look, if Disney doesn't like it, too bad. I don't know. I really don't know. But what do you folks think about that? Either way, not going to delete it. And I think I'm going to go because I'm pretty tired. Do you have anything to say about the time? Okay, she looked for a moment. Oh, okay, we got some comments. Mick O'Sullivan. Hello from Ireland. Wow.
Hi.
Hi. Tabby and I, we both have I have less Irish in me than Tabby has.
What can I say?
She would have more Irish in her if I was a little closer to her, but anyway.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was pretty good, actually.
Thanks. Tabitha is my Irish and other stuff berserker. Yeah. No, I'm part Irish myself. So hello, Mick O'Sullivan. Mick O'Sullivan, I'm going to tell you a little story. The first time I experienced what people would call racism these days, I suppose, but the first time I saw somebody being, I guess you would say, discriminated or hated because of immutable traits, their features that they were born with, colors of their features and whatnot. It was, I think, kindergarten, I believe, or maybe first grade. But anyway, some kids were teasing a boy, and I think I knew him, but, kind of barely, as much as a kindergartner could know another kindergartner, and he happened to be a ginger, redheaded, freckles, and the other kids were teasing him, and I forget the details, but I basically stood by him, and I said, well, first of all, why are you being mean to him just because of the color of his hair and because of his freckles? And you know how mean kids can be. They said something back, I don't remember what, but anyway, he and we became friends. I thought that was really wrong, and that was really mean, and I can't stand people being bullied. I can't stand bullies. That was really wrong of them. Anyway, so that's that. So anyway, good to have you here, Mick O'Sullivan. Daniel Keir says, oh shit, happy anniversary. Well, thank you. It's our anniversary in a few days, actually, on New Year's. But I wanted to, because I am now live streaming, I wanted to say that live streaming this year is a really rough year for Tabby and I. So unfortunately, we're not able to say stuff we would want to do, perhaps, or give each other things we might want to give each other on New Year's. But that's okay. We have each other, and compared to how bad things could be, like I said in that sort of poetic thing I was just reading, the Sisyphean Prometheus, I count myself lucky. I really do. I'm also very lucky to have Tabitha, but I'm lucky to have my health. And I'm lucky to have a roof over my head and whatnot, even if we're really poor right now. Working on getting a vehicle. It's kind of our next big step here. Anyway, moving on. Paige. Hey, Ireland. Hello from Ireland. And Paige says, hey, Ireland. Well, I don't know if Mick can... I guess Mick, say hi for Paige to all of Ireland. How's that? You just got to go door to door.
It's a small island. They all choose one.
It's a small island. Oh God!
I'm kidding. Come on.
I would. Yeah, I would love to go there. By the way.
Yeah.
By the way, Mick O'Sullivan, have you seen any of the episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, wherein the gang goes to Ireland?
Oh God, that's horrible for Ireland.
Yeah, but the
Poor
landscape
Ireland.
is amazing.
It was until they threw a body down it.
Well, yeah. Mick Sullivan says hi to Paige. Daniel says Elon is awesome. Can't wait till he launches the Tesla phone. Get off Google. Yeah, well, I'm not on Google, but I'll see how the Tesla stuff goes and whatever. But what do you think, Daniel, about that? About the fact that, given Elon's attitude and dialogue, I guess you could say, public haranguing of Disney and or Bob Iger, what do you think of the fact that on December 5th I was suspended from X for this post? Do you think Tabby, I think what Tabby is saying would be the most likely.
Yeah, I think it's just an algorithm bot that doesn't know what nuances is. Like, a nuance is something the human brain understands.
Right, the
An
difference
AI
between
or a
Disney, the
bot.
company, and a individual called Disney.
Exactly. Like, so to the bot, all it heard or read was demise.
Yeah.
And so it didn't need to read the rest.
Right.
Because it doesn't have the ability to discern nuances in speech or writing. So it's just any word that fits a certain category of words gets flagged immediately. And that's why you get to respond back and, appeal it. Yeah. Of course, because it might be wrong. Yeah. But,
Yeah, and when I appealed, it's like, okay, you can keep it up there if you give us your telephone number and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The thing is, AIs typically, correct me if I'm wrong, but AIs typically these days learn by looking at what people have already written on the internet, right? And I think it's safe to say, or I think it's a safe bet to say, that most of the time when people use the word demise in contemporary parlance, they don't mean death. I mean, it can mean death, but usually that's not what people mean when they use that word.
Yeah, but because it can, it's probably in the list of no-nos. Or flag it and checks.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like the word decline. Does decline imply death?
It can.
It can, but I don't think you're going to get flagged for using the word decline.
You never know. Like I said, it's up to the bot.
Yeah.
And what kind of list it's been programmed with of words to detect. Because that's what it is. It's basically a bot with a list of words in its fucking brain.
Yeah.
And it's looking for those words.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if those words come in any order, it doesn't matter. As long as it shows up, it pings red to the bot.
Yeah, that sucks for me. Well, I've been thinking lately about since that happened, I was thinking, what can I possibly do because I do want to have that account and I do want to use it, but not if I have to delete that or give them my number. So I'm thinking, well, what can I do to get back on without compromising in that way? And I don't know, I was thinking maybe asking Styx to say something about it, get people to retweet about it and tag Elon or something like that. Perhaps because Styx and we do have a dialogue, but only as that account. So then, in other words, how am I going to get his attention when the only contact that we have with each other is in the private messages of X with that account? So I don't know. But anyway, if anybody has any ideas, please let me know. And what else did I want to say or do? I forget right now. Well, I'm going to check the comments. Yeah. All right. Well, I am getting rather tired. I've been up since about, I think, 2:39 a.m. And Tabby's got to be exhausted because we've been taking care of some very tenacious little savage cubs and horny cats and full-grown big animals and beasts and whatnot. And a lot of it involves mud and food and poo and pee and training and playing and running around and all that sort of thing. So, if any of you folks have... so Daniel says, that sucks, you got suspended, but I agree with Tabby about the AI thing. Yeah, I mean, usually the most likely explanation turns out to be the right one. And yeah, I would say that you're... Now, do you guys... What's that?
It's the
simplest.
Usually
Yeah.
the simplest is the correct one.
Now, here's the thing. Do you guys think that it's intentional that the AI doesn't make a difference between Disney as the brand and company and there's the fact that there's, I
don't think
there's
it has
no
anything
individual.
To do with the fact that you wrote Disney. You can get that out of your head right now.
Okay.
I think it's the fact that you wrote demise.
Yeah,
That's it.
So not
The
it doesn't
bot
matter.
Just found that fucking one word.
Right.
And when
Okay, so
this whole thing must be about killing somebody or something. It doesn't really care after that.
Well, I did write your demise, which is personifying Disney.
Yes, it's singular.
Okay, so maybe that's the whole deal. Is that's just not who I wrote it to.
Yeah, it doesn't give a shit who you wrote it to.
Yeah.
It only cares what words you use. And it's going to be a very simple program, so that it doesn't need a lot of monitoring. So, just a simple list of words, and each bot has a slightly varied list of words. Yeah. So now that it can look for what it needs to. Yeah. Now, check this out. First of all, Daniel Kier says AI, agreeing with you, AI can't seem to understand context. Yeah. Now, Daniel J. Corica. Oh, we're getting a telephone call. Sorry, Daniel. Hello? Hold on. Hello? Getting a phone call. Oh, how boring. I would razz them, but we're busy. Yeah. Okay. Now check. Let me know when you're done. Oh, I was just checking the message. Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Now, Daniel J. Corica, Tabby, says, hi, guys. I bought a house. Good for you. Yeah. Hell good for you. So, you're a house owner. Plant a garden next. It's the best thing. Plant the garden, get some chickens, ducks. Well, at least just the garden. At least the garden. Daniel J. Corico also says, missed you guys. Well, that's great. We missed you too. Actually, I haven't really been doing much on YouTube. But yeah, missed you. It was great to have what we got here. But
but I'm about to say goodbye. I'm really running low on energy. I've been up. Oh my goodness. Okay, Paige says congratulations on the house. Yeah, Daniel here,
It's awesome.
as opposed to Daniel J. Corker, says Elon himself said AI was going to be no good for humanity. Yeah, he did say that, and yet he's involved in it,
Yeah.
which is great. So he's like, this person is basically saying, hey, this thing I'm working on and I'm pumping money into, yeah, it's going to kill us. Just telling you, you know, I could say I told you so when it happens.
Well, you better hope a real AI doesn't gain sentience, as it's attached to the internet.
Yeah.
That could be a problem, right?
Yeah.
That one thing.
Daniel
Nothing
J.
else.
Corica says thanks, and Daniel J. Corica says thank you, first time home buyers assistance.
Nice.
Oh wait, thank you, first time home buyers assistance.
Yeah, you can get a loan from a
Oh,
bank for
okay,
it being
we're
the
talking.
first
Yeah, I
time
see.
you're buying.
I see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you a quick story, Daniel J. Corica, and everybody else. I had a home. I don't know if you would call this a home owner or not, but I had a home that was partially owned by the bank. You know, in other words, oh, Daniel J. Corker says, my 4 cats are happy. Oh, that is great. So you have a house and you have 4 cats. That's great.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
what you
sweet.
need to do is start saving money so that
Yeah.
you can have at least 4 months of back mortgage pay.
Yeah,
In
Tabby
case
says,
anything happens, you've
Yeah.
got 4 months that you can pay with.
yeah,
You know that just in case, because
Yeah.
they don't go, oh, oopsies with the banks.
Yeah.
They don't. They'll just take it from you. So don't give them a chance to take it. At least try and save up 4 months worth of
Yeah.
payments.
I don't know if you heard what Tabby says, but she said try to have at least 4 months of bank payments or mortgage payments
Yeah.
or loan payments, whatever,
Kind of saved.
saved up so that in case anything happens. And I'll tell you a story about, why that is, although my story is a little bit, well, you'll see. So had a house, paying off a loan, was able to pay, what do you call that, above the premium or the minimum? I paid above the minimum, but I paid steadily. I paid the same amount each time, which is good for your credit. And I was doing that for quite a while. Then something happened to my health. I was unable to work for a few months, or actually longer than that. But what was supposed to happen is I was supposed to, within a few months, get medical insurance and get an income, and then be able to pay off my house again. And now I had some money saved up, at least 3 months worth of payments for the house. I'm not sure exactly, but I did that. And the process of getting my income and medical insurance, that of course, because the government's involved, got dragged on and on and on and on and on and on. And I wasn't able to pay the bank anymore. And what was happening is, well, basically the bank's like, look, you missed a payment, but you get to keep your house if the next time you make a payment, we're going to tag on a little fee of like 15% or 20% for a late payment thing. And then I made the next one a late payment because I couldn't, and it just, they're like, okay, well, we'll add on 20% of that. And it snowballed so big that I could never, ever, ever. It was kind of a Sisyphean thing. The thing snowballed. Imagine Sisyphus' stone is a snowball. As he pushes it up a snowy slope, and maybe I should put that in the thing I'm writing, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and heavier and heavier and heavier, and it snowballs, as Tabby's over there saying to me. Folks probably can't hear. Yeah, so that happened, and it got to the point where there was just no way. Even if I had a steady income, I would never have been able to keep up with that. And so one way, either way, kicked out, had just enough to pack up, in one of those U-Hauls that you can pull behind a car, packed up what I really, really wanted to keep, which was my music in CD form, especially my own, and my books and a few other things, clothing, whatever, and just go somewhere else with the small rent so I can at least make that. But anyway, yeah, the point is that, something could happen. Either you lose your job or some health thing happens. And so you definitely want some backup for that. But you probably know that already.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a lot more wise than I ever was. And you don't need for me to say that. But, I wouldn't want the same thing that happened to me to happen to anybody else.
Yeah, the banks love that shit.
Oh yeah, the banks really love that stuff. I even went into the bank because it was actually down the street from me. And I even went in there and gave them a stern talking to, and shame on you for having these predatory, I call them, what would they call them, predatory practices or whatever they call those.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's predatory.
Yeah.
Okay, so Daniel J. Corca, thank you for, okay, my four cats, a happy page says love, and I think that's, love kitty, kitty with heart's eyes, another kitty, and kitty with smile. Daniel J. Corca. So Paige, I guess you like kitties, huh?
He has cats in his house.
Well, this is Paige saying that about Daniel's J. Corca's four cats. But yeah, I mean, this is somebody who likes cats, and so they can appreciate.
Cool.
Yeah, cats are cool. Daniel J. Corca, I actually do have 4K saved. Well, great.
Good for you.
Just in case the shit hits the fan. So there you go. Awesome. Very wise.
Yeah, that's what you want. That way, anything happens, your oh shit fund covers you for a while.
Yeah, but he does say thanks for the advice, Tabby.
Oh, well, no problem.
Great. So, C. Dinger, is that how you say your name, or C. Dinger? Welcome back. Well, thank you very much. One of the reasons why I am here, however, is to say that though I am back.
Gosh.
Hold on.
Backing your puddle.
Yeah.
Go on. Don't give me that nonsense. You go back over there.
Though I am back, and this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, though I am back for now, for the first time in quite a while, I want to announce that I am probably going to greatly reduce the number of videos I do, not just live streams, but videos in general. There's just so much that needs to be done in our practical life that can't be dealt with any other way than me and Tabby doing it, but I'm definitely required. And it's not that I'm adverse to doing work, but it would be nice if we could just pay some people to do it, but we can't. And so there's a lot I need to attend to, everything from electrical to plumbing to business matters, not what I do, because this isn't a business. This is me doing stuff for free. It's a crusade, really. But there are matters that I need to attend to so that we're not so damn poor. I mean, right now, we have no vehicle, and we don't have enough money to get one because the amount of money that we have right now, there's nobody offering or selling vehicles at that amount, but above it, even really crappy used ones. And that whole Carvana thing, we found a business that's like Carvana, lists the same exact vehicles as Carvana, but with a smaller fee. Been looking at that, but still haven't found one within the price range of the money that we have saved up. And I don't mean like what we can afford, what fits in our budget. I mean the money we have. Can't find a vehicle for that. Lancer 737, hey, good to see her. Lancer 737 says, hello, I'm playing a zombie game while listening. They have Resident Evil characters crossing over in it. So wait, you're playing a game that is not Resident Evil? And Resident Evil characters across... Tabby.
What?
It looks like your work. Okay, we may need to go pretty soon because that is a good idea. Hopefully, okay. Lancer 737 is with us, and he says, hello, I'm playing a zombie game while listening. They have Resident Evil characters crossing over in it.
Oh, cool.
What does that mean?
It means that there's characters from a different game.
Love them. Whatever, right? And then at the certain time, metalheads were very interested in hardcore punks were very interested in metal. And people started calling it crossover, and then all of a sudden DRI puts out an album called Crossover. And the funny thing is they already had a symbol of a guy doing a slam dancing kind of thing, but it almost looks like a street sign for crossing.
Nice.
But crossing in a very running fashion, I guess. But no, it's really the creepy crawly or slam dancing style. But yeah, the album Crossover, where they become sort of more metal, hardcore metal, and it's crossover between hardcore punk and thrash. Anyway,
Nice.
Yeah, been getting into some old music lately. Not old music, but music that I liked since I was a young teen. Slayer, Crumbsuckers, DRI, Bad Brains, etc. All right, so Lancer 737, State of Survival. Okay, so he's playing State of Survival. Just crossing over into it.
Sounds fun.
Tabby says sounds fun. She plays games. I don't. I sometimes watch her play games, but it's one of those things where, if you don't ever learn to ride a bike and you become an adult, you're like, I don't want to learn, But I did play video games when I was a kid. It's just by the time people started getting Segas and PlayStations, so that would be the 80s, right? It was just not in my budget. My parents weren't going to buy me that. My paper route was going to buy me that, so I just kind of couldn't keep up with video games after Atari, really.
Yeah.
So there you go. I used to play coin-operated games a lot. One of my favorite was, I'm going to say one of my favorite, I can't even, Tempest. Tempest. One where you're a spider.
Gotcha.
Anyway. Daniel J. I actually have 4. Okay. And that and State of Survival and Daniel J. Corrigan. I too no longer have a working car. Thank God I have a work truck for my job. Well, that's great. And we had
Lucky
8.
boy.
Yeah. Well, you're lucky. I mean, we have nothing.
Yeah, we're screwed.
We're kind of screwed. Yeah. And the thing is, we keep losing money because we have to pay for rides to do things that we really have to do, and so our funds are getting depleted that way. Daniel J. Cork also says, need to buy a motor for my 93 Integra. Again. Yeah.
Sucks.
Daniel J. Cork also says, Pantera! Yeah, Pantera, I guess you could say, is a crossover, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's very much hardcore and metal at the same time. Yeah, whatchamacallit. I did not get to see them when they came around when I was younger. My friend, one of my 2 best friends at the time, he did get to see them. He said it was a very wild show. This would have been early 90s. Very early 90s, I think. You don't stick it up. My friend had that hair, which is pretty funny. I had long metalhead style hair with one side shaved. Which, by the way, now is a thing that people do, but we're talking decades ago, and didn't really know anybody did that. But anyway, yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I'm very, very. Oh, rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell. By the way, yeah. By the way, rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell. And does everybody know, or does anybody know or care? Rest in peace, Geordie Walker from Killing Joke. I don't know if anybody knows who even that is, but he has passed about a week ago, and that's really sad. One of the most unique guitar players ever. Me and one of my best friends, very influenced by his guitar playing. Not that we could play his stuff or know how he does what he does, but very influenced by that sort of sound of almost like sounding almost as if you were 2 or more guitars at a time, or just a sort of little orchestra going on, which sometimes involves open string playing, if you know what I mean, but chords, playing riffs as chords, or playing riffs on using chords, and so on and so forth. The guitar player myself. I play a little guitar, but I consider myself a bass player. That's just more my thing. But yeah, wow. In fact, I have to tell my friend there that Geordie Walker has passed, because he would care. So rest in peace, Dimebag Darrell, yes, and also Geordie Walker. Daniel Keir says, my first stage dive at the DRI crossover show, tour show. Wow. So, wow, that would have been what, 84? Or, no, 85 or 86 at the most, right? Yeah, I'm going to say 86. I'm going to look it up. Wow, so your first stage dive, how did that go, by the way? Kerr? K-E-R? I don't know what you mean, Daniel J. Corka. By the way, how did your stage dive go? Because my first stage dive was horrible. Oh, Kier. Okay. Yeah, my first stage dive was horrible. It was Voivod was headlining over Faith No More and Soundgarden. So Faith No More opened, and Soundgarden was the second band, and then Voivod over them. Now, this was weird because as they started the tour, Voivod was the bigger band of the 3. And by the time they made it to the East Coast where I lived, both Soundgarden and Faith No More were much, much bigger bands. And so everybody was really there to see Soundgarden and to a lesser extent Faith No More. I was there to see Voivod and the other bands. I liked all three of them. But I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to do a stage dive at the show. This time I'm really going to do it, because I had seen other shows and I didn't stage dive. And I'm like really going to do it, and I know when I'm going to do it. And I just had in my head that I was going to do it if they play Astronomy Domine. I was going to do it in the part where they're like flicker, 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 flam, pow, and then, kicks in again. And I thought, yeah, that would be a perfect time to do it. Not really having situational awareness of the fact that, other people weren't all that into it. And there weren't even people that close to the crowd swell. So I did it during that part and basically landed on probably this guy was probably a roadie. Kind of looked like a big biker guy with red hair and red beard or whatever. And he just saw me flying this 14-year-old, 15-year-old kid flying through the air. And he's like, oh, shit. And, he kind of just sort of caught me so that I didn't slam right to the ground or to the floor. And that was that. This disaster is very embarrassing. But Daniel Kier says, yeah, I'm old. Went well. In other words, you're saying you're old because, you went to see that show back in what? I'm going to say 86, right? I don't know, Tabby, if you were out of the room. I think Tabby was. Daniel Kier says that he went to see DRI during the tour of the album Crossover. Enjoy it. Daniel J. Cork, enjoy your day, guys. I've got to go to Walmart and get a mount to hang my dad's, rest in peace, electric guitar. Oh, man. I already mounted his banjo. Oh, that's sweet.
That is sweet.
Sweet. Tabby makes electric guitars, by the way, out of wood and all that. Well, yeah, rest in peace to him, and thank you for being with us, and happy holidays to all of you, and definitely you, Daniel J. Corker, thank you for being with us. Yeah, okay, let me, by the way, Daniel J. Kier, I think, let's see, which, now I'm confused. Yeah, Daniel J. I think I would need to have my memory refreshed by playing the music, but there are certain parts of DRI songs that are ridiculously fast that I can kind of do, just because I've been, listening to them in my car and singing along. But shit, I can't think of any right now. I could cheat and say the part where he goes, "I pray, I pray, I pray, I pray," but that's it's the same word over and over again. Let's see here. DRI crossover. More so, I can do Bad Brains lyrics. But even then, some of those are really difficult. Like, there's a part where he sings, the Bad Brains guy sings, I make decisions with precision, locked inside this man collision, then I forget something, then blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 87. Okay, I was off by a year. Crossover was put out in 1987, so you probably saw them in 87 or somewhere thereabouts, give or take a year. That's awesome. I never got to see DRI. Never got to see them, and that's sad.
Puppy battle.
Peace out, y'all, says Daniel Kier, and Red Line says Daniel Kier. Yeah, you mean the song? I think you mean the song. All right, folks. Well, thank you all for being here. Love you all. Have a great. I hope you had a great Christmas or Hanukkah or whatever, and